Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome into the Keep Boone Healthy Community Information Channel. I am David Jackson, President and CEO of the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce. Great to have you back once again, and it's great to visit with one of our good friends, Dr. Scott Elliott, Superintendent of Watauga County Schools. Dr. Elliott, the start of school right around the corner as we are officially in the month of August. I'm sure that means things are getting awfully busy around your campuses right now.
It's exciting. Good afternoon, David, and thanks for having me back on. You're right. It's August, and we're looking forward to our staff and our students coming back, and just can't help but get excited this time of the year.
So what do those first day preparations look like for you and your staff and your entire leadership team right now?
Yeah, well, administratively, we've been preparing for the coming school year for months already. When you look at our budget cycle and hiring, we had our earliest start to our hiring season this year. We began hiring teachers for the coming school year as early as back in March. So really trying to get ahead of the limited labor market that has now hit the public schools, just like every other kind of business. But we've been busy all summer long with facilities renovations and improvements, some much needed delayed maintenance that has occurred, a lot of professional development and training for our staff and faculty, budgeting, and of course, hiring. It's always exciting this time of year when we're hiring new teachers that are, right out of teacher education or who may be coming to us from another part of the state or the country, who are moving here for the quality of life or the school system, and just all of those things, ordering supplies and materials, getting the classrooms ready, meetings. We're getting ready to have our annual leadership retreat to get ready with our principals to start the school year. Back to school festival, all of those things coming up, and it'll be up August the 22nd before you know it, the first day of school.
Speaking of the Back to School Festival, this has become one of those kind of community mark your calendar moments. A great opportunity for local school children to get the year started off on a right foot. Everything from the actual physical resources, haircuts are back this year, and all kinds of other ways to get children in a great positive mindset for this event. And I know that this is still an event that is seeking volunteers and seeking people to get engaged there as well. What can you tell us about your involvement there?
Well, we'll be back to 2019 and before. Actually, this is the 10th year of the Back to School Festival. It's just amazing to think about the blessing that festival has been for many of our families. It's open to all children and all families in the community. It will be Saturday, August the 13th in Watauga High School. There are specific times for students from each school. So I highly recommend that folks go to their website. You could Google Back to the number 2 School Festival, Watauga. They also have a great Facebook page where they have information. They have an actual schedule, hour by hour, starting at 8:30, going through 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, for students to come in at their scheduled time. And if for some reason the schedules don't work and folks can't come at that scheduled time, I think they'll be glad to try to help people at the end of the day. But I highly recommend that you stick to those times to avoid some of those long lines. As you said, it's wonderful. Students will be able to get all the things that they need to start the school year off in a positive and well-prepared kind of way, from backpacks, school supplies, pencils, notebook paper, highlighters, all of those fun things, and brand new shoes and haircuts and all of those things that really make school the start of school exciting for kids. There will also be some of our community partners that will be there with information about services and needs and opportunities throughout the community. So it's a great way for families to connect to resources in the community as well. Just as you said, we are always looking for volunteers and we are always looking for donations. It is completely donation and volunteer driven. Again, go to the Back to School Festival .org or their Facebook page and get in touch with those folks, or people can contact me directly and I'll be glad to put them in touch. But it's money well spent, time well spent, and it's a lot of fun.
You mentioned that this event kind of turns back into its pre-pandemic look, if we can call it that. Yeah. There are some other things procedurally about school this year that will revert back to some of those things that we remember from pre-March 2020. One of those will be in that packet of paperwork that we all get on the first day, those school lunch forms, and understanding that the way that lunch has been funded the last couple of years is going to look a little different this year. Can you explain that and explain the importance of that key, very important paperwork?
Yeah, parents and families like yours and mine, we get those big packets of information at the start of the school year to fill out with the bus rider forms and emergency contact information and insurance and things like that. One of the most important ones is the application for free and reduced lunch. And there are a lot of families who just assume that they might not qualify for federal subsidies for free and reduced lunch. And I would encourage all families to fill out those applications. We will be sending home a flyer at the start of the year with a link to the online form that can be filled out. It's also linked to our website, and families can go online there and fill that out. And you just alluded to it, but for the last year and a half, the federal government has provided funding for every student to receive free and reduced lunch. And that has changed. And a lot of things will continue to change as thankfully we move away from our pandemic experience. But we'll be going back to the way things used to be in 2019 with families filling out their applications for free and reduced lunch. One thing that is different, and I'm so grateful to our state representatives and our state senators, they are supplementing the funding for students who would qualify for reduced lunch and reduced breakfast. Those children will also receive the free meals. So students this year will, if they qualify for free or reduced, will get those entirely free. We'll also be sending home the meal prices. We've tried to keep our prices as low as possible, even with all of the escalations and inflation costs that we are seeing. But it is so important. Another reason that it's important to fill out those applications is that families often qualify for other types of public assistance by virtue of filling out those free and reduced lunch forms. It's also a measure of need for all kinds of different grants and types of governmental funding that the school system receives. So it's always helpful for as many families as possible to fill out those forms. For the rest of folks out there, families like mine and others, be prepared to return to full pay meals, and we'll continue to offer healthy and affordable meals for children for breakfast and lunch.
Another one of those things that we saw evolve quite a bit during COVID, but I think in some cases, the resource has opened up new opportunities is within dual enrollment activities. And we have seen those opportunities grow immensely here over the last several years in Watauga County. What do you have in store there for folks that may be doing some of that homeschooling, but want to seek opportunities for the dual enrollment services that have evolved over time?
Yeah, the last year and a half has really been a forced opportunity for us to learn about all of the ways that we can reach our families and reach our students in ways that previously we didn't know we could or didn't really have an impetus to try to do. Of course, we went into remote instruction for a brief period of time for all of our students, and blended instruction that really caused us to be better prepared for meeting students with all kinds of different needs. So one of the things that happened in the last year was the creation of our newest school, the Watauga Virtual Academy for students in grades K through 8. We are currently open for enrollment. There is an enrollment tab on our website. Folks can also call up to our district office or to any one of their local schools to find out more information about enrolling in that all virtual academy. But as you said, one of the things that we realized is that we have many families in our community who've found a variety of ways to meet their children's needs through homeschool, or maybe enrollment in a private school, either in person or through a virtual program. But they still would like to have access to some of the resources of the curriculum or extracurricular or athletic activities from our great school system. So we are opening up dual enrollment, which means that students can take at least half of their classes through our Watauga Virtual Academy and the remainder of their classes through either a private school or a homeschool environment. And because they're enrolled with us at least half time, they can participate in athletics, they could be in the band, they could come to the after school activities, and really kind of maybe have the best of both worlds and whatever might be best for their families. So I encourage folks to really think about that. We've talked a few times on the program here about our school system really always trying to push the envelope and thinking about how we serve the needs of our community and serve the needs of our families. Our vision statement is to be the best place to learn and work for all of our families. So we're continually thinking about how we meet as many children's needs as possible. We are looking at an increase in enrollment in the school system this coming year. Especially at a few of our schools where we have a large enrollment. But I would encourage folks, if they are thinking about enrolling with us and they haven't already, to please go ahead and contact their local community school and get an enrollment packet, and let's go ahead and get a schedule in place. If they're interested in that Watauga Virtual Academy, go online or give us a call.
One of the things that often comes up at this time of year as people get back into that routine of going to school is enhancements to school safety. Never been more important in that regard. What can you tell us about your continued processes to make sure that schools are safe across the board all throughout the county?
Well, it's a serious topic, and I'm glad that you brought it up. And as a dad of two children who attend our schools, the safety of our students is top of mind for me every single day, and it is for all of our teachers and our administrators. Certainly, it has been on all of our minds as parents, especially the last couple of months since some of the things that have happened in our nation over the last year, and particularly at the end of last school year. We convened our law enforcement partners with our Board of Education for a school safety work session with our Board of Education a couple of months ago. And from that, we've renewed, we've really, not really lapsed in our emphasis on school safety, but really renewed our relationships with the sheriff's office and our local police departments. They are doing training weekly in various facilities. And next week, they'll actually be doing a full-scale training in one of our schools, involving some of our school staff, but also just members of the law enforcement community from all across the county and the townships and state agencies, always being prepared. We're also preparing for the start of the school year by providing even more support for our students. We have hired an additional school psychologist. We've brought in additional outside school-based mental health therapy that will occur during the school day. We are adding a licensed clinical social worker to provide counseling for our students and supervision of counseling interns that will come over from the university. Just continuing to do everything that we possibly can. I will, just try to say to parents who, like me, are always concerned about this, that we are in partnership together, that it takes all of us to make sure that our schools are safe, to ensuring that when parents see or hear of concerns in the community, that they give us a call or call our law enforcement partners, or if they are experiencing a need in their family, that they reach out to us so that we can try to provide some support and some prevention to maybe keep things from getting to a point where things happen that we maybe could have prevented. That see something, say something motto that we always talk about is always true. But I would also say that one thing that's very important is the support for our teachers. Our teachers really are on the front line of providing the nurturing, loving, supportive environment for all of our students. It's that relationship between a student and their school, and specifically their coaches and teachers and counselors at school. We know that when students are engaged in school and when they have meaningful relationships with the adults in their schools, that they're far more healthy and far more successful in school. And one way to try to foster that is for parents to also have the most positive, supportive relationship with their teachers. And I think that that's true. That's one thing that I think really sets us apart, is that our parents view their schools and their teachers as part of our community and are supportive of it. Of course, there are times when we might have questions about our children's experiences. We might have disagreements about what is happening in school, or we might just have questions or concerns that need to be raised. And I would just encourage parents to always reach out to those teachers, show your support, show your respect, and also be willing to ask information or ask hard questions if you need to. And when teachers and parents and schools are working together, we can provide a safe and healthy and loving environment for all of our students.
Very well said, and leads well into the last question. You've talked for a long time about how the school system is a great marriage of what community can be, and is a major player in what we know our community to be here in this particular part of the region. With that said, a number of businesses have found ways to be supportive of their local community school to address needs, especially during COVID, but even long before that, and I'm sure long after that. As people are again getting back into that routine, what are some ways that the external parts of the community, outside of the relationships that you mentioned, can be supportive of a strong start to the school year and strong relationships throughout what we know will be this upcoming year?
Well, we live in such a wonderful community, including such a wonderful business community and nonprofit agencies, churches and faith groups and clubs and other organizations, the university. And I would first and foremost ask people to stop and think about what makes community, and to not forget that our public schools all throughout this county are deeply entwined in the fabric of this community, and that it takes all of us working together to preserve and to grow this special thing that we have. You're right that over the last year and a half, we've had lots of love and support and new partnerships for our schools to support our students and families in need, but also to support our educators. From our sponsor here, Skyline Sky Best, and their support for our programs, to some of our bigger business partners like Blue Ridge Energy and Appalachian Healthcare, even down to some of our smallest mom and pop businesses that maybe folks haven't heard of before, who make quiet donations to help a child to pay for a field trip, or to pay off a lunch bill or something like that. There are plenty of opportunities and plenty of need, from the Back to School Festival that we mentioned earlier, to our Watauga Education Foundation that provides money directly into the classrooms and classroom grant programs, to even just supporting their individual schools. So if there is, for example, a church out there in a particular area of our community, and want to do something to help but aren't sure what they could do, just pick up the phone, or stop by that local school near you. Stop in and see the principal or the school counselor and just ask what the needs are. Odds are there's a family in that school who maybe needs some help with the meals, or a new pair of shoes for their children, or some assistance in some way. Or maybe it's just words, notes, words of appreciation, or coffee one morning for the teachers. But we invite our parents, we invite our businesses, our churches, our faith community, and others into our schools to be partners with us and to grow this really wonderful thing that we have.
The last thing I'd love for you to point out, and I know you're a numbers guy, so I'm sure you'll remember this right off the top of your head. We think about our school system operating as the way to educate children and bring community, and they certainly are that. But as we look at this community, this is also one of the largest workforces that we have here too. And as you get ready to start a new year, can you dazzle us with some of those statistics about how many staff members it takes to do the work that you and your team will do throughout the course of the year?
Yeah, we sometimes don't think of ourselves as a business, but in a small rural community like ours, a school system is really a big influencer in the vibrancy and health of the community. And to your point, that is also true economically. Watauga County Schools is the third largest employer in our community. With we're growing our base of employment as our enrollment grows, with over 700 employees in every kind of job that you can imagine, from highly technical skilled tradesmen and technicians and IT professionals, to counselors, medical professionals, and educators, administrators, business professionals. We really have sort of a microcosm of the economy right in Watauga County Schools. This year, we will have an operating budget of over $56 million. So we are circulating a significant amount of money through payroll and the purchasing of local goods and services in our community, where we try to do business locally every chance that we get. And I don't take for granted being very responsible for the public's money, and also being a good business partner within our community. So we're always looking for new partnerships, new people that we can support, helping to provide our students with employment opportunities and internships, learning opportunities, but also opportunities to help support local employers. And just know that we're always here to partner with anyone who might need us in any way, both as a big employer and a big business, but also as a small community school out there in the county.
Well, you do a fantastic job at keeping this machine moving in a positive direction, and bringing that community feel to what we know that children in this community get to experience on a day in, day out basis. We look forward to seeing the yellow school buses back out on the road, and always appreciate your time explaining how it is you and your team do what you do each and every year. And we are certainly thankful for that work. So best of luck with the start of the school year, and we hope it's a good one all the way throughout.
Look forward to talking about it again soon. Thank you, David.